Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. In this video, I will show you how to make a knockout text design on a curved letter using Cricut Design Space. Come on y'all, let's get started. For this project, I will be using TechWrap Heat Transfer Vinyl, Siser Stripflock Pro, and a white Gildan t-shirt. I will leave a list of these items in the description of the video. Here in Cricut Design Space, the first thing I'm going to do is add my text. To add text, I am going to select text on the left toolbar. When the text box opens, I am going to type the letter C. And then I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas to type my next word. I will repeat the same process for the other word. Next, I am going to select my fonts that I want to use. And to select my fonts, I am going to select the letter C. Then on the top toolbar, I'm going to select fonts. And right now, Cricut Sans is the default font. So I'm going to select font. On the left window, I am going to select the System tab because I only want to show the fonts that is on my computer. And then I am going to select the font Chicago Titans. So I'm going to scroll down and I am going to select Chicago Titans. And then I'm going to select anywhere on the canvas to close the window. Next, I am going to select Cowboys. And I am going to change this font to a font called the Humble Script. And then I'm going to select anywhere on the canvas to close the window. Now that I have my font, I am going to size the letter C a little bit bigger so that you can see what I am going to be doing. To size the letter C, I'm going to select the letter C and I am going to use the corner handles to size it to make sure that I size it proportionately. I am also going to change the color to blue. And to change the color, I am going to make sure that the C is selected. On the top toolbar next to Basic Cut is Material Colors. And I'm going to select the color swatch. And then I'm going to select a dark blue. And then I'm going to select anywhere on the canvas to close that window. For Cowboys, I want to make sure that the word is in front of the letter C. And so I'm selecting Cowboys. On the top toolbar, I'm going to select Arrange. And under Arrange, I see that I want the to front is grayed out, which means that this is in front of the letter C. I'm going to click anywhere to close that window. Next, I am going to rotate Cowboys so that the name starts at the bottom. To rotate, I am going to select Cowboys. On the top toolbar, I'm going to select the drop-down menu where it says For More. I'm going to select Rotate. And I am going to change this to a -90. And then I'm going to select anywhere on the canvas to close the window. After I rotate Cowboys, I am going to size it and position it on the letter C where I want it. After I size and position Cowboys, I want to curve the word on the curve of the C. And to curve the word, I am going to make sure that Cowboys is still selected. On the top toolbar, I'm going to select the drop-down menu where it says For More. I am going to select Effects, and then I'm going to select Curve. I am going to use the slider bar to curve the word in the direction that I want it to go. And I'm just going to curve it. So once that I am satisfied with my curve, I am going to select anywhere on the canvas to close the window. So when I curve the letter, you can see that some of my letters are no longer connected to each other. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to bring the letters closer together by adjusting my letter spacing. And to adjust the letter spacing, I am going to select Cowboys. And on the top toolbar, I'm going to select Format. And I am going to use the slider bar for letter spacing to bring the letters closer together. And so I'm just going to just kind of bring them together like that. And once I am satisfied, I am going to click anywhere on the canvas to close the window. As you can see, I am using a script font, and I want to create a single cut path because now the letters are considered separately. Even though they're touching, they're going to cut out separately. And I want to create a single cut path. To create this single cut path, I am going to select Cowboys. On the bottom of the layers panel, I am going to select Combine and then Weld. The next thing I am going to do is add an offset to the word Cowboys. To add an offset, I am going to select Cowboys, and on the top toolbar where it says Effects, I am going to select Effects, and then I'm going to select Offset. I am going to change my distance to 0.08 and hit enter. And once I am satisfied with the offset, I am going to select Apply. Next, I am going to slice the offset from the letter C. To slice, I can only select 2 layers at a time. So with the offset still selected, I'm going to hold my Shift key down on the keyboard. And while I am holding the Shift key, I am going to select the letter C. And if you look at the layers panel, excuse me, you can see that I have 2 layers selected. I am going to go to the bottom of the layers panel and I am going to select Slice. Once it's sliced, I am going to delete the unwanted pieces. So on the layers panel, I am going to select the first slice results. I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to select the next slice result and I'm going to hit delete. And I'm going to select the last slice result and I'm going to hit delete. With the name sliced from the letter, I want to remove some of the small pieces. So there's a small piece here, there's one there, one right there, and one right there. I want to remove that. And to do this, I am going to select the letter C. On the bottom of the layers panel, I am going to select contour. When the contour window opens, I am going to select hide all contours. And I am going to select the letter C. And then there's this little piece right here that stays selected because in this menu, one object has to be selected. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select that to hide it. Let me select it over here. I'm going to select it to hide it. And now the only piece open is the largest piece of the C. And then I'm going to select apply when I'm finished. And now you can see that it removed all of those small pieces that was left there. For this project, I am going to put this design on a t-shirt using Siser Stripflock Pro and Printable heat transfer vinyl. And to create the layer for my printable heat transfer vinyl, I am going to create an internal offset. And to create the internal offset, I am going to select the letter C. On the top toolbar, I'm going to select Effects and Offset. To create an internal offset, you would use a negative distance. And so I am going to change my distance to a negative 0.15 and hit enter. Once I am satisfied, I am going to select apply. Because I will be using Stripflock Pro and Printable heat transfer vinyl, I cannot layer the Printable heat transfer vinyl on top of the Stripflock Pro. And so I need to slice the internal offset from the blue layer because the blue layer is the Stripflock HTV. To slice the internal offset from the blue layer, I am going to select both the blue C and the gray C, which is the letter C and the internal offset layer. And I am going to go to the bottom of the layers panel and I am going to select slice. I am going to move the gray layer to the side and I am going to select and delete the inside of the blue layer. And then I am going to select everything, the blue layer and the word cowboys. And on the bottom of the layers panel, I am going to select attached. I am going to move my gray layer back into the design, lining it up. And then I'm going to select everything and I am going to size it to about 10.5 inches wide proportionately so that it fits on the front of the shirt. And to do that, I am going to use the corner handle here and I am just going to drag the corner handle to about 10.5. So let me zoom out so we can see the whole design, and I'm just going to continue to size the design. So as I stated earlier, the blue layer is going to be cut with Stripflock HTV, And the gray layer is going to be cut with printable heat transfer vinyl. The gray layer is too large to be a print then cut. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to print the design background, and I am going to cut this gray basic cut from the printed heat transfer vinyl. So I already have the design printed on the printable heat transfer vinyl. Now I'm going to select Make on the top right. Here on this screen is the design on its color coordinated mats. The gray mat is the mat that I am going to cut with the printable heat transfer vinyl. And because I've printed the design on the paper already, I don't need to mirror it. The blue mat is going to be cut with Stripflock HTV. And because this is being cut with HTV, this mat needs to be mirrored. And to mirror it, I am going to turn on the mirror button. And when you turn it on, mirror turns green. Now, I am going to select Continue on the bottom right. On this screen, I am going to select my material settings. For the gray mat, I am going to use printable heat transfer vinyl. And so I am going to select printable iron-on for dark fabric. For the blue mat, I am going to select glitter iron-on because I find this setting the best setting to cut Stripflock Pro. You will want to do test cuts to make sure that you are using the correct material settings for your material. I am going to get everything cut out, and I'll be back to press this on the shirt. Here at the heat press, I have the heat press on 320 degrees for 20 seconds. I have lint rolled and pre-pressed the shirt to remove any moisture. I have the Stripflock layer already placed on the shirt about 3 inches from the bottom of the collar. And I chose to do the Stripflock first because I don't want to put the printable heat transfer vinyl down and the carrier sheet from the Stripflock pulls the ink off of my printable heat transfer vinyl. So I picked to put the Stripflock down first, and I am going to press this at 320 for 20 seconds. Now I am going to layer in my printable heat transfer vinyl, and when I layer it in, I want to make sure that I get it layered in without overlapping any of the Stripflock that is already on the shirt. And I'm just going to line that up as best as I can. And once I'm satisfied, then I am going to press this at 320 for 20 seconds. Okay, y'all. So here is the completed shirt, and I think it is so cute. This is really, really, really nice. And it is a great alternative if you do not have an embroidery machine. I just think it's really nice. I really do. I think it's nice. Tell me in the comments what you guys think. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you're able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.